Hello, everyone, and hello, Jason. How are you tonight? You feeling better?
I feel better than I did yesterday, but still fighting a cold. But we'll work our way through it.
That's good. Yeah, just had a little blip come up. I'll go through some of the messages that we have gotten. P&J's Homestead Adventure says, "Hi, Jason." And Derpy Playground.
Yeah.
They must have popped in and back out. I don't see them. Carrie saying hi. And then just back and forth with me and Carrie. And
Hmm.
Lynn. Hi, Cindy. For those of you that are here, and I'm sure I'll be saying this again as more come up, Sana has been delayed with an appointment. She may or may not make it tonight. So that's why you're not seeing Sana right now. But if anyone has any questions for Jason, please put a Q in front of it or question marks so I can grab them real quick. Other than that, what's coming up, Jason, for you?
It's pretty much a lot of the same, I guess. Just keeping on with keto. I just passed my 5 years of pretty much keto straight. Uh,
Have you ever done straight up carnivore
I
throughout
tried
the
it
five
once.
years?
Yeah, I tried it for a couple of weeks one time. Um,
It's it's tough.
it is tough. Yeah, yeah. It's not really. And it's not that I don't like it. I'm more or less carnivore as it is, but I think it's more the balance of what I eat and what my wife eats, and just trying to keep things balanced in the household, kind of thing.
Right. Is she
And it was
trying to do keto?
no, no.
I know she wasn't the
She's
last time we talked. So I didn't know. It does make it a lot easier for me that Brian is doing it as well.
hmm
I'll go through
yeah,
some of
yeah,
these. Hello, Joe. This is my granddaughter. Hi, Trin. And everybody's saying hello. The Bud Files, peoples. I just put Jason's link in the chat. And hey, Pete and Jason, Twin Brooks Acres. I believe it's Rick. If
yep.
I'm wrong, just let
Yep.
me know because trying to keep up with everybody's names. And Carrie is 733 days no coffee. I was giving platelets course that was a win to help people. And then when I was done, they were trying to give people king cakes, and I said, I don't do sweets, and they're okay with it. Yeah. When my husband has to have a test done, I bring something for him to eat afterwards. You know how they try to give you crackers and stuff like that. I'm like, no, he's all set. I've got something for him. Don't.
Sure.
What's your favorite chaffle so far? PJ wants to know. P and J's wants to know.
Yeah, there's been so many of them that I don't. It's kind of hard to say. Like, I think some of the ones that I've made with cream cheese. I
Mhm.
think one of the ones was like cream cheese and green olives was one of my favorites. Um, like I say, I've made so many of them that it's kind of hard to pick one. But yeah, I do like the soft cheese jaffles. They seem to do the best for flavor.
Right.
Yeah,
I,
and
I
your
know. Go ahead.
so P&J's Homestead Adventure, they won one of the chaffle makers I gave away
Nice.
on
Have
the.
they used it?
I think they just got it the other day, so I'm still waiting to hear they're excited to try and make chaffles.
So
yeah,
easy to do, guys. Holy mackerel.
yeah.
I love them. I found a recipe in my book for crispy Eggo waffles. That was Low Carb Love's recipe, one I had printed out. I made a bunch of those last week.
Mm.
They're so good. What is this about?
I'm not sure.
Me
Nope.
neither.
She just retracted the comment. That's Huga Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you pronounce that. But that was on my chat, and they just retracted it. So maybe
Yeah,
it wasn't meant for this chat. Maybe.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I know in Canada, Jason, you have trouble getting keto chow.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to get the new flavors?
I didn't even know they were having new flavors. I didn't get
Oh,
any
you didn't see
notification
their
about
live come up the other day as a surprise?
Wow. Yeah.
They were supposed to be released in a live on the 7th of February, but they prematurely sent out email or text messages. So then they did an impromptu live, like real quick, with Steve from Serious Keto.
Okay.
Because he created 2 savory flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Baked potato soup and cream of mushroom soup.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I've got a video coming out that I made the potato soup today.
Mm-hmm.
And with it, I made a ham and potato au gratin.
Oh, yeah.
Using turnips instead of potatoes.
Right.
So I haven't tried it yet. It's in there on my stove, cooling down. But yes, it's going to be good.
Yeah. No, it definitely sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I say, I had no communications from Keto Chow about that at all. So I don't know.
Wow. I'm sorry about that. But
like I didn't expect to get any, but I didn't even hear about any upcoming releases or anything. So I don't know if they're just not communicating with me about it or not. So
it was like it was a very impromptu thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like a text came out. Are you an affiliate with them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I say, I got no text, no email.
It could be because of the Canada thing and having to ship them and having problems with that.
Yeah, I don't really expect them to actually physically send it to me. Like I don't, I never really expected that. But I didn't even, I still haven't seen any release come through as an affiliate with information to actually put out to my followers. So like if I don't get any of that, then there's nothing really I can put out. So
wow, I'm sorry. Now I feel bad.
Well, it's not your fault. Because I saw everyone else was talking about it, and it does definitely looks. And I know Steve was talking about it when he was on Dustin's live stream.
Right.
That obviously he didn't talk about the actual flavors or anything, but I knew
he'd have gotten in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Joe and Rachel did a review of the new flavors made with butter. They said it was good. They made a green bean casserole with the mushroom soup flavor, and it was good.
Yeah.
I have been requested to make green bean casserole, but I have something else in mind, so I may do both. Like I'm going to record that on Sunday, and then it's all going to be up on one video. So what I did with the potato soup and with that one. Hey, Dustin.
Yeah, no, they definitely sound like my kind of thing. Like when I was pre-keto, mushroom soup was probably my favorite thing.
Yes. Yes. What keto-friendly pasta have you tried and liked?
The only one that I get and I try, or that I like, is the I can't even remember the name of it anymore. The konjac root
Hmm.
uh, noodles. If you just look up konjac, I think it's Konjac.
JAC,
Yeah,
KONJAC. Yeah.
yeah. Those are the only ones that I've really tried that were any good. You know, you have to. They come in packed in water, and you know, if you've ever tried them, you know they have a fairly off-putting smell to them when you first open them up. So you got to rinse them off pretty good.
Yeah.
But and they don't taste like anything because they're basically just noodle-shaped water. But I find they're a good vessel for a good homemade pasta sauce or what have you, whatever you want to put on it, kind of thing.
Right. That just, sorry, this doesn't sound good at all. Potato soup and a creamy? No. Potato soup ice cream? No.
Yeah, that'd
Our friend
probably
gone
go.
hello.
Yeah, pretty good. In Lindsay Murphy makes soups with keto chow with
Right.
in her Ninja um, in her blender that cooks the soup in the blender.
Yeah, the Vitamix.
The Vitamix, yeah. So that would probably go pretty good in that.
Hello, Maritza
Crafts, yeah.
and Pete. There's one we like that has oat fiber mixed in. They have a better texture than the normal low carb noodles.
Mm.
Dustin, if you know the name of them, throw it in the chat. Now, I have my favorite one that I've tried. We've done the palmini noodles. Those are okay, but the healthy noodles that we get from Costco, those are probably my favorite. And I've used the egg life wraps and sliced those up. That's just, it's okay. But the
Right.
healthy noodles are about the closest I have found to actual noodles.
Okay.
And, it's like, those probably my favorite.
Mm. Yeah, it's one of those things too where we, again, being in Canada, we don't necessarily have that many choices. Like I've seen the palmini or things like that as well, but we don't have a ton of choices up here. And noodles are one of those things that I may have them 2 or 3 times a year, so it's not even a very often thing. So
Right. I think there was one time I made a lasagna and the noodles were a cheese layer. It was like you mix this cheese layer, this cheese combination together, and you baked it. And you brought it out and let it cool. And you cut it in 3 sections, and it was made in a loaf pan. It tasted so much like regular lasagna with regular pasta noodles. It was just so good. I'm like, holy, I got to make that again. That's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Susie.
Yeah.
So, Jason, I think we have enough people in the chat. If you would tell how you got started on keto, and I know you said it was 5 years. That's wild. And let me just reiterate for people that have just come in the chat real quick. Sana has been delayed at an appointment. She may or may not show up today. So just letting everybody know. And the floor is yours, Jason.
Yeah, I guess ultimately I grew up fairly active in sports. Played in growing up in Ontario, Canada, played hockey all through my teenage years, and I was in competitive judo from like the age 5 till I was 18. Getting up to almost qualifying for the Olympics kind of stage.
Nice.
But then my focus and my interest shifted away from sports and more into what you do when you're in your late teens and early 20s, and you're more focused on your friends and partying, and
Yeah.
never really got really out of shape until sort of my late 20s, early 30s. And it was typical, like every year you put on a couple of pounds, and never really pay attention to how you're eating, and drink too much beer, and eat pizza and subs, and like it was just the way we were back then. But so I guess up until I was late 30s or something like that, and then I started having some really bad issues with digestion that ultimately I started figuring out was like a gluten intolerance. So that's when I cut out eating gluten altogether for quite a few years. But what I found when I did that is you're replacing the bread and the wheat pasta and all that with other grains like rice and potatoes and all that. So it wound up, I wound up gaining a lot of weight from that. I was feeling a bit better, but the amount of weight I put on fairly quickly was kind of alarming. Again, I do, knock on wood, kind of am thankful that I didn't, I was able to fix things before my health got really too bad.
Right.
By the time I was 47, that's when so it was 2017, my first grandson was born, and I had gotten up to around 280 pounds, and I was always having back pain issues and knee pain and everything else. And it was just even worse trying to keep up with my grandson all the time. So after a couple of years of that, I figured I needed to do something. I didn't know what it was going to be. But then we went to a family gathering one Christmas, and one of my cousins was there, and I hadn't seen her for a couple of years. But she had lost a whole bunch of weight, and I got talking to her that night, and she said she'd been keto for like a year and a half or something like that. And I'm like, okay. And, being on YouTube, watching lots of videos, you always see stuff like that come across your feed, but I didn't really know much about it.
Right.
Right. So basically at that night, I said, I'm going to go home, and the next day I'm just going to start looking into this. So that was Boxing Day of 2018 kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I went home, and between then and New Year's Day 2019, I just basically watched every Dr. Berg and every Thomas DeLauer and every Goody Beats video I could find, and just tried to learn everything I could about keto.
There's so much out there. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, even back then, there was a lot out there that you could get caught up with. And, everybody's got different opinions about different parts of it. But, I basically just took the basics. And so, yeah, January 1st, 2019 is when I started keto. I basically just overnight started eating differently.
Right.
And then basically in the first year, within a year, I got down under 200 pounds. So I started at 280 and got down to 198, which ultimately is, I think, the last time I even stepped on a scale was after that first year. So, and since then, it's just been sort of trial and error. I fell into the trap of keto treats and, baking all this stuff. And, ultimately it wasn't good long-term. It was filling a void at first, but
right.
eventually I realized that I just need to stick with real whole foods, and basically that's where I've leveled out at this point. I just stick with, you know, mostly protein, you know, chicken, beef, pork, and then some vegetables in there somewhere, but not very often. So,
Right.
and
Uh,
I've been able to maintain that pretty well. You know, I don't suspect that I'm still under 200 pounds, but I'm not far from it. I'm just basically where I feel my best right now. So,
that's what matters. I mean, that's what keto's all about is getting healthy, you
mhm.
know, and regardless of which way that is for you, that's what it's about. I mean, there's so much camaraderie between keto, ketovore, carnivore sometimes in the within the community that it's crazy.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know, I mean, I know you've heard it. We've all heard it. It's like it's insane.
sure.
Look at some
Yeah.
of these chats real quick. Jay's P
Mhm.
and J's loved your 4 cheese chaffle video.
Yeah, Friday already.
Numis Maniac,
Yeah.
if I'm saying that right, is it Friday already? 5 years retirement as hi Corinne.
Life. Yeah.
I'm saying hi. I put Sana's link in the chat. I put mine in, and I also put Jason's in again. Saying hi. Numis Maniac. I left Ontario in July '77 and haven't been back since.
Mhm.
I've never been to Canada.
No, yeah.
No, not now. Having to have a passport. I don't have one. So
Mm.
when I retired from the military, I doubled in weight. You know, that happens to a lot of people when they retire from whatever.
Mhm.
And there's Dustin Laviva is the brand of noodles he was talking about with the oat fiber.
Right.
Thank you, Dustin. And there's Jason's link for everyone. Most of them are from your channel, anyways. Corinne's Life, just Jason and more. Do you eat the low carb bread?
Not anymore. I did quite a bit when I was first starting keto, though. The just to supplement the stuff that I like to eat before. Again, I was gluten free before going keto, and if you've ever had gluten free bread, it's just horrible. So I didn't really eat it that much. But
Do you
yeah,
make the egg white bread?
I haven't done that. I know that's a good option if you want
Mm,
something that's bread like.
right.
Again, it's one of those things where I don't crave it enough to do that. I still want to try and make it one of these days, but I haven't tried it yet. So
You've never tried it? Wow.
no.
Now I do make that. I have never bought keto bread over the counter.
Mm,
Never, never. I've made it, but the egg white bread, but that's it. Because they all have, regardless of what it says, they all have wheat in them,
hmm.
some form of wheat. And my doctor had told me after I was on keto for about a year, he says, I think you have celiac. And I'm like, and I wasn't sick or anything. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't think I do, but okay, thanks for the heads up. I'll stay away from anything that has wheat in it. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't buy it. Tried the Herbalife diet and it worked really good, except I got sick of protein shakes. I like solid food. I've
Yeah.
never heard of the Herbalife diet. Keto makes such good sense. It sure does.
Just real food.
Yep.
Karen Cole here.
Hello from England. I'm trying to
Mhm.
get down here through the chat here. Bama Nola Adventures. Hey, Jason. And then saying hi to one another. Do you use a vitamin supplement? I'm assuming she's asking you, Jason.
Yeah, I don't really use I don't use any kind of multivitamin supplement necessarily. Uh, the last few days I've been gobbling vitamin C like it's no tomorrow. But ultimately, I just have my electrolyte drinks every day, whether it's Element or the the salty
Right.
drinks or whatever, and then I take a magnesium supplement every night. But other than that, I just try and get most of my vitamins from my meals.
Right. Now, for me, after having gastric bypass in 2007, I was told then I would have to supplement with vitamins for the rest of my life because my body can't ingest all of that. It can't hold on to it.
Right.
So I do take quite a few. Here's a question. Do you ever have off days, Jason? I was told it was okay to cheat once in a while, but not every day.
Yeah, that's a fairly complex question because it ultimately that is a something you have to figure out for yourself,
Right.
or at least that's the way I look at it. My personal experience is that I can't. I haven't had like an intentional cheat meal ever in the last 5 years, because that's my mentality as I have to abstain because I can't moderate what I do. Basically,
Right.
one cheat meal. Again, the only way I can explain it is that I could have a cheat meal or even a cheat day, and I'd probably feel perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what the problem is, right? Because then I'd be like, mentally, I'd be 2 weeks down the road. I'm like, okay, well, I did it 2 weeks ago and I felt fine. Maybe I can do it again.
Exactly. It'd be like, oh man, this is in my head now.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, it's like every week, and then it just goes right back to where you were. So I've had to commit to basically just sticking to what I do. There's a lot of ways to cope with not cheating, especially going to parties and stuff like that. But that's a big conversation. Um, but again, lots of people out there. There's lots of successful people that are successful with keto or ketovore that can manage, an off day here and there. And for a lot of people, that can really help them mentally get through changing a lifestyle like this, right? So I think ultimately you have to be able to honestly look at yourself and say, well, can I manage and handle doing this and stay right back on track the next day, or is this really gonna uh, derail me and put me right back in a bad place? So once you can
Right.
figure that out, then you can, that's when you can make your own decision, basically.
Now with me, my husband does keto with me,
Mm.
and he is a type 1 diabetic. So like one day we went to a Frisch's Big Boy restaurant, and we're sitting there. We get a sandwich without the bun. We get the burger patties without the bread. And then we looked at each other and said, the onion rings just sound good. Let's get an order and share them.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to tell you, granted, onions have carbs, but the breading is
Hmm.
like ridiculous.
Yeah.
He had maybe 4 or 5 onion rings, if that. And on the way home, his blood sugars were up to 300.
Hmm.
Now, he's on an insulin pump and everything. So for us, it really isn't worth it, you know,
Hmm.
to have a cheat meal or something like that. And not to mention, when you do, it knocks you right out of ketosis, which is the whole idea of ketogenic way of eating. And it takes, so from what I was told, it takes about 2 or 3 days to get your body back there for one meal that you go off plan. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth that? If you work that hard to get your body into fat burning mode and into ketosis, is it worth doing that? You know,
Right.
so that's really big, especially the benefits of being in ketosis. It's like, you know, between the brain, and I was told by a heart surgeon, your heart needs ketones as much as your brain does, and that's something that's rarely talked about.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Hey, Debbie. I love how I feel being on keto. Happy I started back at it again. That's great, Corinne.
Yeah. Yeah. She started
Nova
back recently.
Scotia. Wow.
Yeah.
Livia noodles are good. I have not seen them or tried them. Hey, Brenda. Dominic, I hope you're feeling better. All right. You're ahead of me in this chat, Jason. 2019 was when I threw out bread and ice cream from the store. If I want ice cream, I make one from the keto chow I have. Exactly, Carrie.
Yeah.
When I started keto years ago, I was advised to take vitamins. With keto, you typically, for anybody, any normal person that hasn't been through surgery and all that, you should be able to get the vitamins from your food, but just get your levels checked at the doctor, and you know, go from there is what my suggestion. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah. Again, that's one of those things that's a fairly
Mhm.
personal thing altogether. You know, some people are, um, you're right, getting a proper panel done. Some people have really hard time uh, converting vitamins from food.
Right.
So, you know, and you know, if you are deficient in certain vitamins, it's, you know, it's never going to hurt anything to
No.
supplement what you need. But the other
Right. Because
thing,
if you have too much, you're going to get rid of them when you go to the bathroom
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Hi, Jerry.
yeah,
Everybody's
I
saying
think that
hi.
the biggest thing, you know, if when you're on keto is just more focusing on the electrolytes like the potassium and the magnesium, the sodium. Personally, I think if
Right.
those things are in check, then you can the vitamins a lot of times will work their way out. But again, yeah, getting things checked is worth doing.
Yep. Hey, that should be one of the typical blood workups that your doctor does when you do go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know they do mine, so I don't ask them.
Yeah.
Having dinner. Have fun, Dustin. I'll see you tomorrow. I take D3 absolutely, and K2 with D3
Hmm.
is really good.
Yeah.
Um, I could list the ones that I take, but
Hmm.
that's just me. Now, Jason, you had said you've been taking vitamin C since you got sick. Years ago, yeah, I was running a retail store and I had this customer come in and I had a real bad sinus infection. This is way before I started keto, way before all that.
Hmm.
And he said, you know, he said, I used to get sinus infections all the time. And I started taking a vitamin C every day. He said, I don't even hardly ever get a cold, much less a
Yeah.
sinus infection. Well, you know, I started taking it right away.
Hmm.
And with the exception of the big C that I just had right after Thanksgiving, along with strep, I had not been sick for years. I
Yeah.
mean, years, just taking vitamin C daily. I
Hmm.
swear by it. I'll tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Deb, this is my sister. And with Jason on not using the keto products, we're much better off without. I do have an occasional keto chow, though. And she likes some other things. She just doesn't partake in them like I do. How did Groundhog propose to his girlfriend? He asked her to be his shadow for life. Carrie, you're crazy.
I
That's
guess
funny.
the groundhog here predicted an early spring, so I don't know.
You know, I, that it messes with my head every year because you still
Yeah,
have 6 weeks of winter regardless of what the weather's like.
no, I know.
Technically, we still have 6 weeks of winter.
Yeah.
It's so, Jason, I know you had just done the 4 cheese and you're getting over being sick. What do you have coming up on your channel that we can look forward to?
Um, well, it's I'm hoping to sort of continue the chaffle recipes every week kind of thing. It's what I've been sort of aspiring to is doing a recipe video every week. Um, I'm trying to get into doing more vlog type videos. I might experiment with like what you released earlier today, of like what you eat in a week or whatever kind of thing. It's one of those things I've never really done that kind of video because for the most part, what I eat is kind of boring. But it's ultimately I'm just trying to be a little bit consistent with at least one recipe video each week, and then the live streams that I do on Thursday nights, kind of thing. Uh,
Right.
the it was just recently the channel was able to start offering memberships, so I'm trying to work out some benefits for memberships, kind of thing, to
Mhm.
people that are interested, so that I can release like members only recipe videos or cook-alongs or whatever. I haven't figured it out yet, but
Right. Well,
that's sort of
the ones that I do, the what I eat in a week. I mean, there's the daily things, and a lot of what we eat is pretty standard. Is like bacon and eggs, or whatever.
mm,
But if people like to see that, you know, and I
yeah,
know people do because different people, they'll tell me, oh, you got some good ideas here, things like that. It might, oh, I forgot about that, or,
mhm,
something else that it's okay. And
yeah,
a lot of times I am not to be seen. I'm only to be heard in those videos,
right,
which is okay too.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I have a
and
question from Debbie.
yeah,
I
okay.
would like to know what the best supplements to take for keto in you all's opinion. It depends on what you're lacking in. I
Hmm.
mean, getting, like we had talked about, Debbie, getting some blood work done, getting a whole vitamin workup done. You could ask your doctor, can you check my vitamin levels, and make sure everything's good when they do blood work. That would be your best way to find out, if you actually need to take any.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that the supplements are, again, it is a sort of on case by case situation, but most people a lot smarter than us will say that 99% of the population is deficient in things like magnesium and potassium.
mhm,
So that's a good place to start. Getting your uh, using an electrolyte, a good quality electrolyte replacement uh, each day, kind of thing, and then figuring out your threshold for magnesium every day, because I don't know, I'm sure lots of people have been taking too much of that at one point and realize they have to dial it back. But it's kind of a balancing act where if you're strict keto, I think you need to balance things out to where you're feeling your best. You're not getting any cramping or anything, because it's amazing. Just electrolytes being out of balance can really mess up the way you feel overall.
right. Now I do take a magnesium supplement every night.
Hmm.
I rarely drink the electrolytes. They're all, I have to really water them down because they're extremely, both of them that you mentioned are extremely salty to me. But
Mm-hmm.
all my levels are good. When I get my blood work done, I might do one electrolyte drink a week, but that's
Right.
just me. But all of my levels are good between the potassium and magnesium and sodium. They're all always within normal range. So I must be doing something
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
What is this
Yeah.
NutraVal?
That will
I don't
tell
know what
you
that
what
is.
your Nutrafol.
NutraVal. I don't know.
Yeah, it must be a test that you can take that will measure your what
Nutrition
you need.
evaluation. That's what I
Hmm.
get it.
Hmm.
You'll be eating.
They're probably talking about chaffles.
Start taking potassium, magnesium. I feel great now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I did take vitamin D before, but not now. I'm taking B12 now. That was low last time. It's
Hmm.
probably a good idea to continue with D, but D3, Debbie. That's that's pretty standard for everybody, especially as we get older,
Hmm.
to maintain bones and all that good stuff. I wish they
Yeah.
would have told me about that years ago.
Right.
It's blood work expensive. It tells you where you are nutrient deficient. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Rick. Yeah, I had not heard of that one. Jason, we talk about your waffles all over the place. Yes. I'm telling you, I've gotten into making chaffles, and again, I started to when I first started keto, and then I put it on the back burner and I wasn't making them for a long time. And now it's like, whew, so
Yeah.
easy and they're so good.
Yeah.
And Jason, you come up with some good combinations, and then there's some that I wouldn't touch. The
You don't you,
sardines,
you don't want a sardine
olives.
chaffle.
No, no, no.
Yeah, those ones were actually pretty surprising. That's why I wasn't sure how those ones would turn out, but overall they were pretty good, But I knew those were uh, a lot of people uh, weren't going to be down with those ones for sure.
Oh, no, no, no. I
Mhm.
don't I don't do sardines. Nope.
Yeah, yeah,
But I don't like olives either, so there's that.
mm,
And I know
yeah,
you did one with just olives or something the other one day. I
yeah,
have seen so
probably.
many of them. I binged
Yeah,
watched them at Christmas time when you did the 12 days of chaffles.
right. Yeah, yeah. I was going through everything earlier because I wanted to find out, but I've got 43 chaffle recipes on the channel now. So
Wow.
still trying to,
You have them in a
ultimate.
playlist?
They're all part of my keto recipes playlist. They're in there somewhere. So what brand?
I'm telling her here. I take the Now brand K2D3, and they do have them on Amazon. I can't
Yeah,
do sardines either.
yeah. It's all, yeah. Whatever the brand of vitamins and supplements I take I think it's not even sure it's available in the U.S. It's called CanPrev, but
I've
they're all
never
good,
heard of it.
good quality stuff, and I can buy them at local stores. I don't have to go through Amazon. So
Our P&J's Homestead, I think our first one is jalapeno and cream cheese.
yeah, those sound good.
You did that one, right,
Yep,
Jason? I
yep,
thought so.
yeah, yeah. I made those.
So,
I'm, I'm
what other concoctions could we come up with, Jason?
no,
Something that you haven't done, which is pretty rough.
yeah, yeah. It's there. Well, I've still got. I had a whole list of when I was making the 12 days of chaffles series. There, I sort of sat down and wrote out a list so I could pick from them. So I've still got 4 or 5 that I didn't make for that series. that I want to make, but there's things like I want to, and this isn't for everyone either. I want to get into a like an even spicier chaffle,
Yeah.
something with like fresh habaneros or something like that.
Ooh, that'd be too
You
hot.
know, yeah,
Squid
yeah,
and mackerel.
squid and mackerel chaffle. Well, you know what? It'd probably work actually. I'm, I have it in mind to do like a smoked oyster chaffle. Again, smoked oysters is something I really like, just eating straight out of the can. So
Mhm.
it's one of those things. That's why I started. Some of those were posted as will it chaffle kind of recipes, because you know they don't always turn out great, um, but luckily enough, most of what I've made has turned out pretty good. There was a while there I was trying to come up with a sort of a pumpkin pie chaffle.
That sounds good.
I was trying to make it with like actual pumpkin pie filling, like just the pureed pumpkin,
Right.
and I couldn't get the consistency to a point where they would actually cook properly. They
Mhm.
would It just didn't work out. So that's why, a while later I put out like just a pumpkin pie spice chaffle, which, ultimately turned out pretty good. So
As long as there's not too much heat. My stomach is so
mhm.
sensitive. Yes, Debbie.
Yeah, some jalapenos can be pretty spicy. And just I was
Still
working at a dentist's office
BBBE.
today too.
Fasting today. All right,
Mm,
Brenda, thank you for coming by and keep on listening.
mm.
I have my other computer waiting for him. He's doing a ground beef dish, but called it groundhog for me.
Groundhog.
All righty. So yeah, there's so many combinations you can make with that stuff. With chaffles, it's just incredible, and how good they are. And I tell people, say, if do you have an egg and do you have shredded cheese? I
Hmm.
said an egg, and usually we do a half a cup. I know you do 2/3, right?
Usually, yeah.
I said that makes you two little waffles, and people look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, nope, this works. It's crazy how it works,
Yeah.
but it's impressive too. Something that
Yeah.
simple and it's just amazing.
Sure. Yeah. Just some eggs and cheese and a little $15 waffle iron or whatever waffle iron you have. Ultimately,
Yeah,
it would work. I like the Dash Minis off, obviously, but that's mostly because it's
it's
the
just the
size
right
works out
size.
perfectly. Yeah.
I used to do a lot of peppers. I have a good tolerance to heat. I had a reaction, so now I only use Redmond salt to season.
Mm,
And hey, Jay, but yeah, that's one of the things. When people are starting keto,
hmm.
I'll tell, like my son and his girlfriend, they started over a year or so ago, and then they got off track and they're trying to get back on. And I reminded her about the chaffles because she said she started making them the last time and they loved them.
Hmm.
And it's cheap enough and it's easy. And I'm like, just make them,
Yep.
freeze them. They'll toast well. It's like,
Hmm.
when I found that recipe that I was telling you about for the crispy Eggo waffles, it was Low Carb Love's recipe.
Right.
I was like, I got home from bowling one night and I made up like a double batch of these things, and it made quite a bit. I
Hmm.
still have some in the freezer, and
Right.
that's what I had for dinner that night. I toasted up a couple of those, put butter on them. I was good because
Hmm.
they're very nutritious. They're very filling. and they're easy.
Yeah.
That's how, you keep this stuff sustainable. You keep it easy. And it's
Sure.
like, it's just when people say it's not sustainable, you're putting too much thought into it. Just got to
Hmm.
keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jason, I know it's about 50 minutes and I know you're not feeling well. Is there anything else you would like to tell everyone? Um, we have a question coming up, but go ahead.
Um, yeah, I like doing talks like this because, same when you were on my channel, doing an
Mhm.
interview similar to this, everyone just needs to realize, if you're starting keto or you've been keto and you fell off and you're coming back or whatever, this is where the support is, right?
Absolutely.
The community here is you know what can get you through any hard times and get you the information you need. Having chats like this where there's, I know there's been a few people uh, in my over from my channel that you know like a lot of those people are from that tuber chat
Right.
community, where I've gotten to know other creators, but people are getting interested in this kind of stuff. So it's important to have these conversations so that we can get this information out there and uh, just reach as many people as we possibly can at the end of the day. Because I think you know finding that support and getting the information you need to get started so that you can get over that first couple of weeks is pretty important.
Right. So Debbie's wanting to know, do your waffles taste eggy?
Not really. Again, that's why I think ultimately that's sort of what drives me to put different things in it. If you're just doing a straight, you know, egg and mozzarella chaffle, then you might have some eggy taste to it. But a lot of times I'll use even habanero cheese has a lot of good flavor, and
Mm.
or cream cheese, and like any of the chaffles that I make pretty much cancel out the eggy taste with everything else that I put in them.
Right. You can put any kind of seasoning in there that will hide the egg taste. I
Hmm.
don't taste it. Even just using the egg and the mozzarella. It's
Hmm.
amazing to me how it doesn't taste like cheese and it really doesn't taste like egg.
Right.
How? It's like,
Yeah.
wow. That's
Hmm.
it's just craziness here.
Yeah.
Hyla is in the
Highlights
house.
there. Hmm.
Chaffle instead of Chafee. You think about Dr. Chafee, Debbie.
Yeah. Hyla's on her crafting channel tonight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I miss her videos, Miss Hyla. Yep. Let's see, I don't have much time for YouTube lately and don't get to watch too many videos. I get that. It can be overwhelming sometimes. And then when I'm off for a while and then there's no catching up. There's just no, because it's continuous and it's so hard. Like
Yeah.
avocado spray on the Dash Mini, correct?
That's what if I'm going to use spray, that's what I use. Um, I just spray it on and then spread it around with like a little silicone brush to make sure it gets in all the crevices kind of thing. I know people will say, I've had people comment saying you don't need to spray your Dash Minis, they're non-stick. Well, I've had my fair share of chaffles stick in those things. So I
Some
just,
will stick, that's for
yeah,
sure.
I just, I just use it. It's not going to hurt anything. So that is what I use for sure.
Right. I feel that way sometimes too.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Slacking on the channels.
yeah. Yeah. And like the more people you get to know on YouTube and everything, over, like I've got two YouTube accounts that I use. One is, obviously the account that I post content on, the keto
Hmm.
content, but then I have my own personal account that I subscribe to, content that's sort of separated. It's got nothing to do with what I do on YouTube. But even my own personal account, I'm subscribed to like over 400 channels on that one. So
I hope
trying to
mine's
keep,
one of them.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. Trying to keep up with everyone's content. What
It's
I've
hard.
done, what I've tried to do though is just, when someone releases something new, I'll just put it in a playlist so that I can at least get it run. Even if I don't have time to sit down and actually watch the whole thing, but I can at least run it so that people get the watch time that they need, right?
Right. Here's a good one. I like cinnamon and vanilla in my chaffles
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I
keto
did it.
chow.
Yeah, I did
Yes.
a cinnamon sugar chaffle. So cinnamon with it was like a swerve brown sugar cinnamon, or the brown sugar supplement kind of thing.
Mhm.
Definitely tastes good. Keto chow goes good in chaffles too.
Oh, yeah. You have a chaffle playlist with all your recipes.
Yeah, it's under my keto recipes playlist, Hyla. All the chaffle recipes are in there. And yes, I'm hoping to get there for sure. Completely missed out on the early bird tickets. They
Did you? Oh,
Well,
no.
I had to go to work. By the time I got home from work, they're all sold out the same day. So
That's if they went quick.
yeah, so
Cinnamon chaffles, that sounds interesting. Would seem like dessert. Oh, there's a
yeah.
lot of dessert recipe chaffles out there.
Hmm.
I was telling Jason before we started, I found a recipe for like chocolate ones that I
Hmm.
topped with a no sugar added peanut butter. And oh my word, it was good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was,
yeah,
but there's so
yeah. My
many.
my on my channel, the one I did, it was almost 2 years ago, was the peanut butter and chocolate chip chaffles.
Hmm.
And that recipe and video by itself, has done a lot for my channel, because for some reason it wasn't even a very good video. I didn't really think much of it. And then after being posted for a couple of months, it turned into something that, I think it's almost 9,000 views on it now. So
Wow. I'm going to have to go search it. I'm sure I've watched it.
yeah. Yeah. If you just go to my videos on my page and just sort it by most popular or whatever,
Hmm.
it's not my most popular video. That's one of me putting together a barbecue a couple of years ago, but it's second popular for sure. But yeah, it's weird how YouTube works. Sometimes things you don't really expect to do well wind up doing really well. So
Hilo says, I thought everyone was hating on KPL last year. I think you've got that mistaken with KetoCon
yeah,
because
that
there
may
were
have
a
been.
lot of people upset about KetoCon,
Hmm.
but everybody loves Ketopalooza.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
think that KetoCon, the way they've changed it to sort of,
now hack
like, I
your
don't know.
health.
Yeah, yeah, it's more of like was it like supplement companies and stuff like that now?
It's all kinds of things. I mean,
Mm.
my sister and I are going in May, the end of May, beginning of June to hack your health. And we went to
Okay.
KetoCon last year. It's definitely different. Ketopalooza is way more fun, way
Right.
more personable.
Hmm.
It's and very well organized. Autumn does such a great job with that.
Hmm.
Hey Kevin.
Yeah, yeah, I had a lot of fun last time. It's quite the excursion for us to do, but we just make a holiday out of it and do more than just go to Ketopalooza. But yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to going again. Just have to get it sorted out.
So I put Jason's link in the chat again. I'm gonna go grab Sana's before we leave. And again, for people that have just come in, she would be here if she had got delayed at an appointment and couldn't make it. But she's good.
Mm-hmm.
There's Sana's, and I'm going to grab mine. She usually does this when I host, and so here we go. And there's the link for mine. All righty. Yeah, just everybody saying hello. All right. Jason, I hate to take up more of your time because I know what it's like not to feel good and to sit in front of this front of this camera and try to act like you're okay. Their
Yeah,
first time
the
going to
voices.
Cape View. I've heard so many good things about it. Yeah, Debbie, you're going to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any parting words for those in the chat or those that might watch the replay?
Sure. Yeah, like it's like I was saying before, you need to. I've always said that find your community, which is basically right here with these people that are going to support you. Do a little bit of research, figure out how you're going to start keto and how to start it properly because it can make a difference. And then my biggest thing has always been figure out why you want to do this. A lot of people start with oh, well, I just want to lose weight. But ultimately, I think it needs to be a little deeper than that. Going right back to the start of my keto journey is the reason I started was because of my grandson and being able to keep up with him as a 2-year-old kind of thing.
Right.
Now I have 2 grandsons, and it's even more hectic now. But basically, every time I ask myself why am I doing this? Why am I out with friends and not indulging like them? Why am I, sort of not following what everyone else does? All I have to do is think about my grandsons, and that keeps me sort of staying on course. So
right, everybody's told to find your why, and they say your why should make you cry. So like my why is my husband. He's gone through a lot. So yeah, there's that, and to better my health. And that's what weight loss is, an added bonus when you start the ketogenic way of eating. Yeah, it's great to lose that weight. I've lost 100 pounds within 23 months of starting it. And I've maintained that for over a year now. So it's definitely possible. This is something I never thought I could do. And I didn't start it till I was 62. I'm 65 years old right now. So it is definitely doable. It's just getting your mindset in the right place. Keep it simple and just know there are people here, like Jason said, that will help you, that will get you through anything, any questions you may have, anything at all. The community is huge on this way of life, this way of eating. There's so many out here. So yes, absolutely. Well, Jason, if you have any more to say, anything else you want to leave people with?
No, I think that's about it. I'm really happy to be able to be part of this community and try and help as many people as I can. Again, from your followers and my followers, and I'm sure you've seen it. I know you've helped people, and I know I've touched people and sort of struck a chord with some people and sort of shown them what they can do with this lifestyle. And that's really all I'm here to do.
That's all we can do is try,
Yeah,
you know?
what makes it worth it. So
That's right.
yeah,
Anyway, I want to thank everyone that's in the chat that joined us tonight. I really appreciate it. And we're sorry that Sana couldn't be here. But
yeah.
everybody, have a great night. And we'll see you next week. And have a good week. Bye.
Good night, everyone.